Here's true power!
Grant him your strength!
What's poppin', mi gente? Your boy is back with another motherfucking video. Now, today we're going to be talking about Maria's Power Up Big Daddy Richter effect. Or should I say, effects. Because in reality, this one simple looking thing is about 10 to 12 different effects combined into one wonderfully retro style smorgasbord of a pixel art old school it's just fucking wonderful. There's a lot of shit all combined into one thing here, and it's just, you know what, I'm gonna stop talking about it. Let me break it down for you guys. Okay, so first up we have the animation from Maria running in, and then the animation where she's summoning here. And it is a long animation that I broke into several parts, because this way I can just sync up each part correctly and ensure that if, let's say, you're playing it on an older piece, it's done in a way so that the animations will still always sync up to each animation clip and each audio clip. As she runs into the screen, we have two sound effects playing for her footsteps. These alternate, and they play a total of 4 times, followed by her playing her first voice clip here,
Grant him your strength!
and that second voice clip. And now, I want you guys to observe what's going to happen when she summons her 4 beasts, because they start off as an icon, and then that icon, an effect appears behind it. You have a green one for the dragon, blue one for the turtle, white one for the cat, red one for the bird, and I believe the order is dragon, cat, bird, turtle. Now that's of some importance, and we're going to talk about why in a second here. But I want you to look at the colors on the icons, and then I want you to look at the colors on the circular effect behind them. Notice an issue with the bird and the turtle? They're the wrong colors. I'm not sure why that is, but they are definitely the wrong colors. Now I'm going to try to slow this down briefly. Look at the circles now. Notice they're blinking. They actually cycle through 5 different shades of the same color, from bright to dark and then repeating. Now they don't all start at the same point, probably because the flickering is begun before those orbs are even visible, but there's a definite pattern to it that I managed to replicate. And then you can see that what happens is the icons basically scale down into the circular effect, and then that circular effect scales down X-wise, scales up Y-wise as it blasts off the screen, plays a sound effect. Now, you remember how I said the order would matter here? Well, when they flew up, it was dragon, cat, bird, then turtle. However, when they come back, they're going to start with turtle first. And then let's see what comes afterwards. And I also want you to notice the colors here. The dragon is green, the cat is white, turtle is blue, bird is orange. So we have the turtle first, and he's white. And that's clearly not correct. And then we have the cat next, and he's green. And that is also not correct. And then we have the dragon. He's blue. Once again, not correct. So they seem to have mixed their colors up a little bit here. And the bird is red. Now when it comes to the order, they started with the turtle, basically doing the sides first, and then bottom to top, almost like they're doing a cross kind of shape. And you'll notice they're playing a sound as these scale in, and what this is actually scaling it X and Y wise. This is not actually Z motion. They're not moving it from the camera and then away from it towards the player. No, this is actually just scaling X and Y wise. And if you have doubts, by all means, feel free to experiment on your own and try it, and you'll see, okay, it's moving a certain way that is like, alright, this is definitely just scaling they're using here. Oh, and before I forget, they use additive blending with that. But I took the liberty of correcting the colors. What's going to happen now is, now that they've scaled down enough, they're going to wait a second until Maria drops down to her knees, and then once she's down on her knees, they're absorbed into Richter. Now, something else I wanted to cover is this whole time we've had an additive overlay upon Richter, and it is shaded purple. But the overlay started as soon as he took damage that reduced his HP down to 0. I did change that because I don't understand why they put the overlay on at the beginning there versus right here where the 4 guys were absorbed into him. It doesn't really make sense to me, and it looks funny how they had that there. I guess that's maybe an indication to the player that you're invincible, don't worry, but that's kind of redundant. Or maybe it was just, again, a limitation where they were like, okay, we have to enable this now for it to work. I just don't know what they were thinking there. But what's going to go on now is that Richter, there's a sound effect that's playing, it's looping, and then what's going to go on is that we're going to have a light pillar that's going to open up that uses a similar gradient to Dracula's. It's basically a white to gray gradient that's going to use additive blending. Nice and simple. It flickers every step, so you may not see it in the video. It basically flickers on one step, off the next, on, off, ad infinitum. And what's going to happen is Richter is going to go into an animation similar to his crash animation. However, his motion is definitely different here in that no gravity is applied. He flies up at a smooth pace till he gets to a certain height and then just stops in midair. And what then happens is his color palette is actually changed. And if you look at Richter, you're going to notice this. His skin and his boots are going to get darker and have like this purplish hue in certain parts. And then his body is going to have like this light blue hue, while his legs are going to be a different color. It's a little hard to explain, but you'll see what I'm talking about if you look at it right about there. And you're also going to notice, if you look carefully now, that overlay that I mentioned, that purple one that was over him, is about to disappear. At the same time now, we have some rings that are about to come in, and these rings are very similar to defense up, luck up, int up, etc. Like this first one here, I can tell you is a defense up ring. Okay? And I can tell you the next 2 are going to be luck up rings, except that one of them is recolored red. And then the final one is going to be from int up, except it's recolored green instead. And these rings are just going to all be absorbed into them, and they're unique in that 4 of them are used here. But if you use anything else in the game, int up, defense up, strength up, any of that stuff, any kind of resists, none of them use more than 3, except for this one effect right here. And you can see it's creating a kind of rainbow effect that's going to be absorbed into the middle of him. You can see the color palette I was talking about very easy here, because with the way the video is recording, you guys probably are not seeing that gradient flickering constantly every other step. It's kind of hard to catch like that. Now it's all absorbed into him. Now what's going to happen next is that gradient is going to be scaled down. As right as that gradient scales down enough, you are then going to see a blue ring effect that's going to pop behind Richter. And what's going to happen is he's going to change his animation, a couple of sprites, and then once that blue ring fully grows, another blue ring is going to come off of it that kind of creates a shockwave effect. And it's going to play a sound when that happens. There was one little detail I missed there, and that's that the sound effect that's looping fades out gradually there, but it's almost unnoticeable. And you can see now we have no additive overlay on Richter, but wait a second. That same purplish, lavenderish color additive overlay is going to reappear again, and it's going to stay on him now permanently. And to be a little more specific, they both use a vertical gradient that's just scrolled upward, and that's all there is to it. Nice and simple.
No!
Richter! I'll lend you my strength!
And there you go. There's the effect within Unity. I feel like it speaks for itself, so I'm not going to sit here and hype it up anymore. It suffices to say there were some minor changes made. For example, it was sped up a little bit more. I will say that at the end, I don't have the sound fading out because the completed power-up sound comes out a lot sooner now. I also had a little trouble figuring out what timing to loop the sound with that's played over and over while he's powering up. If anybody has any advice there, feel free to knock yourself out, but it's really not something I'm concerned about. And the other thing was I made it so that the overlay does not start until the rings are already, or until the 4 gods have already entered Richter, which I thought made a lot more sense than just having him flickering before that even happens, which again, I'm not sure why they did that. But that's all I've got to talk about in this video. Hopefully you guys like the results. Leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe if you haven't. If you're not a Patreon supporter, go join right now. As Biggie Smalls would say, give me the loot, give me the loot. Every little bit helps, people. Come on, do your bit. If you want to make a one-time donation, the link to PayPal will be down below. And as always, everybody's welcome to join the forums and the Facebook group. I'll have those links down in the description of the video as well. All right, that's it, peoples. I'll be putting up the changelog for Patreon supporters only in the next day or two. So again, if you want to see that, become a Patreon supporter. And with that, your boy's out. I'm going to get some sleep. Deuces.